What's up guys, it's ALLDAYANTHONY. Welcome back to the Civic vlog that you hopefully know and hopefully love. And in today's video, we're installing the TruHart lower control arms on my Honda Civic. Let's get started. Alright, so this video is long overdue, but I'm excited to finally get this done. This is probably going to be a shorter video because this install really isn't that hard when you have the right tools, and I'm going to cover that here in just a second. But really quick, I want to give you guys a tire update. As some of you know, I was previously running the very affordable Sentiry 205 50/15 tires on my 15 by 7.5 inch wheel. I ran those for several years through the course of 2 sets of wheels, and they were surprisingly very good tires. They held up great. I never had any issues with them, but I recently upgraded to something a little bit better. So these are the Nitto NEO Gen tires in 205 50/15, the same size that I was running before. However, you're going to notice that the tread pattern is much more aggressive on these. These are more of a summer tire, and what's cool about them is that the compound on the inside of the tire is actually going to be harder than the rest of the tire, which means that these are actually more designed for cars that are running camber, such as myself. So if you're somebody that's running camber and you want less wear on the inside of the tire, then you want to check these out because these are actually pretty affordable. I want to say I paid under $100 for each one of these, and it was a little over $400 after the install. Now in terms of a long-term update, I don't really have one since I've only had them on there for a little over a month now, but in the short term, I really like them. I think that they're much stickier than the Sentirys. They feel more firm, they feel more planted on the ground. However, because they are meatier, I am having some rubbing issues on the front that I hope to get sorted out once I get the camber kit installed. But so far so good. I really like them. I do like the more aggressive tread pattern, and I'll give you guys an update down the road. But again, 205 50/15, and then the wheel size is 15 by 7.5 with a 35 offset because I know so many people ask all the time. These are the Koenig decograms that I love so much. So anyways, that's a quick tire update for you. Now let's get back to the good stuff. So these are the beauties that I'm going to be installing today. These are the TruHart lower control arms in the polished finish. These things are good looking, if I say so myself. Now I chose to go with the polished finish because I feel like the red anodized or the other anodized colors out there tend to fade and kind of tend to look a little old with time, whereas I'm hoping that these are going to hold up to all the weather conditions that I drive the Civic through and continue to look good. Now these are really lightweight, which I really like, but they also have some pre-drilled holes there, so if you're mounting a brace or anything else underneath the car, you'll be good to go on that front. Now in terms of tools I'll be using, I've made this extremely easy on myself. If you've watched almost all of my previous videos, you'll know how much of a struggle I've had with just an impact driver, removing half of the stuff on my cars that I have, and let's just say I got sick of it. So I dug deep, and by deep I mean really deep, and I picked up this Milwaukee 1/2 inch impact wrench. This is the I'm tired of dealing with shit solution package. This is the thing that just gets things done because that's how good this thing is. So I'm going to be using that today, which I'm extremely excited about, and I have a 14mm impact socket on here, so I'm going to be good to go. I've already pre-sprayed the lower control arm bolts with PB Blaster, and those have been soaking for quite some time, so that'll make the job easier. And what I also did, because I know people are going to say in the comments, have some spares. So I actually went to the junkyard with this tool just a couple days ago, and I pulled these things out with literally one press of this button. I'm talking in-freaking-sane. Everybody was telling me that I'm going to snap these bolts and that this install is going to be a huge pain in the ass, because normally something like this would be if I was just using a normal wrench, but because of this thing, it is literally a lifesaver. I'm talking like I can't explain it enough, guys. This is the end-all be-all of shit. Stop messing with stuff. Get yourself one of these. It doesn't have to be Milwaukee, but get yourself a high torque impact wrench that will actually remove this stuff, because again, you don't want to deal with the headache or break bolts or strip bolts or anything like that. So I already have 3 other bolts here just in case as a backup, but I guarantee you that this thing is going to be able to rip that stuff out no problem. So before we start making easy work of this, I'll give you guys a quick rundown of what I got going on in the rear here, because I know you guys want to know what's going on in my rear. Now I I jacked it up by the rear tow hook there, and then I put jack stands on each side to give me plenty of working space and room. Now you do have to remove the wheels to be able to do this, to get access to these bolts, otherwise it's a huge pain in the ass. And obviously having a jack and jack stands is going to make a big difference. Now let's just say you don't have an impact wrench. What are you gonna do? Well, you can use a good old-fashioned ratchet, you can use a good old-fashioned wrench, but I'm telling you guys, if you can rent one of these from your local Home Depot, if you can't buy one at this time, do it. I wanna say it's like 40 bucks or 50 bucks for 4 hours, and trust me, that will make a difference. But the way I see it is, buy one of these, it'll pay for itself after 3 uses, and then you'll have it. So just another reason to hopefully pick up one of these if you attempt to do an install like this. So without further ado, let's get started. Super weird, man. It was just super cloudy and like really, really windy, and it just turned out to be a beautiful day. So Idaho, man, weird weather. All right, so we just finished up with the first lower control arm, if you can see it there, and it looks freaking awesome. Had no hiccups. I mean, amazing. I couldn't believe it. And so, like I said, that Milwaukee is just a freaking killer. And so it zipped them straight out, zipped them back in. And so what I did is after I put them back in, I didn't crank on the machine because obviously that's gonna really torque it down. So I kind of got it to where it just kind of snug, and then I just did a hand tight with a wrench over there. So anyways, all went well. The only thing I'd recommend is when you remove the old lower control arm bolts, wipe them down with like an all-purpose cleaner or something like that to clean them up, because there's just sand and grit inside there that'll strip out the threads on the basically, other than that, pretty straightforward, pretty simple. Already looks a hell of a lot better. So now we need to knock out this side. But one quick thing I want to show you guys here, and this is back when we did the install on the coilovers. So if you see right here, this is flipped. This needs to be spun the other way around. And I think when we were doing the install, the sticker was on the wrong side from the factory. And so when we did the install, we wanted to see the sticker on the outside, obviously, but that required this to be turned around. And so I don't care about the sticker. I'm just gonna flip it back around. So spin that around, so we're basically, I'll be able to get to the head of each bolt on the back side versus this, which is the opposite. So anyways, we're gonna zip these things out, drop this, and put the new one in. All right, and those are on, and man, do those look freaking sick, man. Those look good. I mean, honestly, not everybody's gonna be able to see them, but probably from like this distance on the car, once the car's dropped back down, you'll be able to notice it pretty good. But yeah, that looks awesome. Super easy to install. Like I said, that thing's a freaking lifesaver and made easy work of this whole thing. So I got that flipped around as well. So even though the logo's not showing, at least it's facing the right direction. And so everything's been cranked back down. So we're gonna go ahead, throw the wheels back on, lower it down, and check out the final result. All right, so the tires are back on, but I fell ill to the while you're in there sickness. So basically what I ended up doing was polishing up the exhaust, getting it nice and cleaned up because I want that to be as shiny as my new control arms, obviously. And then after that, I hit them with Wowo's crystal sealant to kind of lock them in and give them some protection. So anyways, this looks freaking awesome. So let's go ahead and drop the car down. All right, guys, the car is back on the ground, the wheels are torqued to spec, and we are good to go. These things look freaking awesome, man. I'm so pumped on these. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. I know it was shorter, I know it was simple, but I still wanted to film and document the process for anybody interested in doing this themselves. Now, some advice that I'll leave behind for people that are wanting to do this with hand tools. Yes, it can be done. You can do it with hand tools. However, you do need to spray those things with PB Blaster days in advance. I'm talking those things can really get locked on there. Also, you do need a jack and jack stands. When you're able to lift up the hub itself, you're able to reduce the tension on it and able to get those bolts out much easier. Just be careful because the heads of those bolts can strip. If you can, go down to a junkyard and pick up some extras if you can, if you have the ability to do that. I know new from Honda, they're 15 bucks a bolt, so for all four, or all six I should say, it's like, what's 6 times 15? $90. So that's like half the cost of the control arms themselves. So try to save some money, go down to a junkyard if you can, try to find some other used ones, or just reuse your existing ones if you don't strip out the head. So like I said, it can be done. However, if you want to cut through all the bullshit and get straight to the point, get yourself an impact wrench, and this will make for a very easy job. So just want to give a shout out to TruHart for hooking these lower control arms up. I am super pumped on them. Hopefully you guys like them as well. And so if you guys like this video, make sure to give me a big thumbs up. Subscribe down below for more Civic content. I'll catch you guys in the next one. It's ALLDAYANTHONY. Peace.